One rescue down, another one hopefully to come. Tonight at 6, we talk with a man who pulled an East Texas woman from a spillway. Hear his reaction to the heroic efforts. Tonight, the family of a man who died in a Caddo Correctional Center wants answers why they believe a loved one was mistreated before his death.
I know for a fact that the animal shelter treats their animals better than the inmates in CCC.
Now, a Caddo commissioner is pushing for a change with how in-custody death investigations are handled. Plus, a lawsuit against Caddo Parish schools why one teachers union says the decision over who does and doesn't get a bonus pay is discrimination.
And a first alert to the threat for strong to possibly severe storms coming by Wednesday. I'll track out the threat on the way in your forecast.
Broadcasting live, KSLA News 12 starts now.
Tonight, crews postponed the search for a man whose SUV plunged into the Wright-Patman spillway last night. It happened along the Bowie-Cass County line in East Texas. At 5, we shared the latest on the rescue efforts. New tonight at 6, Stacey Cameron talked with a witness who rescued the man's wife and, as first responders claimed, saved her life.
And this other gentleman, he jumped off the wall and he went and he rescued the lady.
What made you jump in there and risk your life?
Dustin Roach of Ashdown, Arkansas, pulled 29-year-old Lucia Mendoza from the rushing waters at Wright-Patman Lake Sunday afternoon. Roach and others were fishing at the spillway when they saw a vehicle plunge into the water.
I just seen her pop up. I just had to go in.
Roach told us he fished at this location for many years. He never thought of jumping in the water, however, but this was different.
I was looking and wasn't nobody doing nothing, so I just had to jump in.
Roach said at that moment he did not think about his own safety. Captain Sean Hervey with Texas Parks and Wildlife believes Roach's actions saved the life of the accident victim and thanked Roach for being on the scene.
While we never encourage anybody to put their own life in danger, everybody knows their own skills and abilities. Mr. Roach felt confident that he could swim out there and get the lady, and he did, and he was successful.
Today, emergency crews continue their recovery efforts for another man they say was in the vehicle when it fell into the water. And they told us they are thankful it's only one missing person after Roach's heroic actions.
And we're very thankful to Mr. Roach for saving her life. But in doing so, he also put his own life in jeopardy.
You had to do it again with you? In a heartbeat.
Stacey Cameron, KSLA News 12.
The woman pulled from the water is expected to be okay. We expect crews to continue their search tomorrow. Look for the first alert on air and through our news app once we learn the latest on their rescue efforts. Family and friends of Casey Simpson spoke to the Caddo Commission and held a rally outside demanding an independent investigation into his death. He was the inmate who died after being found unresponsive in a cell at Caddo Correctional Center in March. KSLA News 12's Chandler Watkins joins us live outside Government Plaza. And Chandler, Caddo commissioners were also discussing passing an ordinance to have independent third-party investigations into deaths that happen while in parish custody.
And the commission did vote to move that to their next meeting, which is this Thursday. That resolution introduced by Caddo Commissioner Stephen Jackson is to require independent third-party investigations with in-custody deaths. Now, the resolution goes on to state that the parish commission has to be notified within 24 hours of the death, or the next of kin can notify the commission within 30 days. The parish administrator can then request an independent third-party inquiry from a non-Caddo parish law enforcement entity within 48 hours. The findings are then to be reported back to the Caddo Commission and for the report to be made available to the public. And speaking with Casey Simpson's mom, she agrees with this resolution and says she wants answers to her son's death now.
He suffered. My baby suffered. He didn't just drop dead. He was a strong lad. So, no, my baby didn't just drop dead. That's a lie.
Speaking with Caddo Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, he says he has reached out to Sheriff Prater to request an independent investigation from Louisiana State Police into Simpson's death. Now, coming up on KSLA at News 12 at 10, hear more from Casey Simpson's family and their request to see the footage leading up to his final moments. That's tonight on KSLA News 12 at 10. Live in downtown Shreveport, Chandler Watkins, KSLA News 12.
Thanks, Chandler.
Hey, good evening, everyone. We are looking fairly quiet for now, but all good things, unfortunately, must come to an end, especially here in the month of April. Threat for strong and severe thunderstorms is back on Wednesday. Future tracks showing those strong storms, and we do have a risk for some of these producing severe weather as they roll through the Arklatex. We're going to track everything out for you in more detail on the way in your forecast in just a few minutes. Again, right now, things look pretty good. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this Monday. It's been a pleasant one, still in the mid to upper 70s in most places right now. We've seen a fair amount of sunshine, but also a few clouds, picking up some of those on our John Harvey Toyota Skycam over in Bossier City at this hour. We will stay quiet, though, through this evening, and it looks like another quiet day for us tomorrow as well. As we head toward 11 o'clock tonight, those temperatures fall through the 70s, back into the 60s. We'll see a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky across the area as we head through the evening hours. Back in a few moments. Again, your Tuesday looks a lot like today. Enjoy it. We'll talk more about those storms for Wednesday and more active weather for the end of the week as well on the way in your first alert forecast.
Absolutely, the absence of common sense. Why an administration would move to call it hero pay would otherwise be covered under the emergency.
Include everybody. That's the message from Red River United to Caddo Parish schools. As we alerted you earlier today, the union sued Caddo schools over the $1,000 stipend for working during the pandemic. At 5, we shared reaction from union leaders over that lawsuit, and tonight at 6, KSLA News 12's Taylor Davis talked with one teacher who's expected to get that bonus pay, but still decided to voice her support for those who won't receive the stipend.
I did not choose to have a child during a pandemic, but I did, and I made the best of it. I returned to work, putting myself and her at risk.
Keithville teacher Krista May is upset she does not qualify to get the 2021 Caddo Heroes Supplement $1,000 stipend. She took maternity leave to have her daughter.
I've missed 2 days for, doctor's appointments, so other than my 19-day leave, I've missed 2 work days.
We had to seek legal action.
School employees in the Caddo School District are outraged after Caddo School Board's announcement of a one-time payment through their 2021 Caddo Heroes Supplement, a $1,000 stipend for any employee who worked 90% of their scheduled days during the school year. Red River United President Jackie Lansdale says that's unconstitutional. She says it leaves certain employees out, like pregnant women, older employees, and people out with disabilities.
It is absolutely the absence of common sense. Why an administration would move to call it hero pay when it really has nothing to do with the COVID funds, to call it hero pay and to leave out the teachers.
In response to the lawsuit, the school board put out a statement saying days in which employees were absent due to COVID or for professional training do not count against an employee.
I am not in that category, but I would give mine up to anybody who didn't get it that deserved it, because she was a hero this year.
The Red River attorney says the goal right now is to get a court order to stop the board from implementing this until a court decision is made. In Shreveport, Taylor Davis, KSLA News 12.
Is the country facing a 4th COVID surge? This weekend, President Joe Biden touted the vaccination efforts nationwide. He said the country has administered more than 3 million doses a day of the COVID-19 vaccine. But this comes as the nation saw new infections rise for the 4th straight week. As we reported last week, the CDC released a study showing one COVID shot from Moderna and Pfizer is 80% effective against the virus. But health leaders now say it's not the time to skip out on that second dose.
Although we always continue to keep an open mind, we consider the route that we're on now as the best route.
We really want to remain vigilant with regard to the guidance there, as well as testing strategies that could help prevent clusters.
Today, the CDC released updated cleaning guidance saying the risk of infection from touching a surface is low and that cleaning once a day is usually enough to sufficiently remove virus. New tonight, for the first time since June, less than 3,000 Texans are in the hospital with COVID-19. East Texas hospital leaders say the drop is welcome news more than a year after some very sick patients first started filling their hospitals.
We're seeing numbers as low as we've seen since last spring, so it's really been quite a relief.
A relief for Dr. Tom Cummins and the staff at UT Health East Texas after treating thousands of COVID-19 patients over the past year. Inside the hospital skywalk, there are more than 3,600 of these paper lanterns, each one labeled with the initials of a patient admitted to their system with COVID-19.
And we've been hovering between 10 and 14 for the last couple of weeks now.
We've been in a plateau for the past 3 weeks or so. Our numbers have dropped into the low 20s.
At Christus Mother Francis, Dr. Mark Anderson says their numbers are also dropping.
Number of patients that are people in the community that are now immune from either prior infection or vaccine have gone up enough. I think that we're only going to see this kind of continued slow level, at least for the foreseeable future.
The decrease is allowing hospitals to start phasing out traveling healthcare workers who were once needed to help ensure every patient was cared for.
I think by May or so, they should have been completely taken out of the market, and we'll backfill those positions with new hires or contract nurses from other sources.
And while the numbers are low, Dr. Cummins says they can go lower.
So if you have the opportunity to get vaccinated, please do. It's safe, it's effective, and it is the biggest thing that we can do now to control the spread and hopefully help fight off the variants as they come up.
Reported earlier, Texans 16 and up are now eligible for the vaccine. More than 4.6 million Texans are now fully vaccinated against the virus. Check out our COVID information hub on our News 12 app. We posted a full list of where you can go to get vaccinated or tested for COVID-19. Scan the QR code on your screen right now and it'll take you directly to that COVID hub.
Well, good Monday evening, everyone. Last Wednesday, I gave you the first alert that we would have no threat of severe weather through at least early this week. Unfortunately, Mother Nature is only going to give us that. By the middle of the week, here comes our next weather maker. So first alert, we've got a cold front and a strong upper level storm system that's going to swing through the Arklatex on Wednesday. And with that, the threat for rain and storms returns, and so does the risk for seeing strong and possibly severe thunderstorms. In fact, we are in the latest severe weather outlook for Wednesday. The risk in yellow is slight. Notice that covers all of southwest Arkansas, northwest Louisiana, and a large part of East Texas. We will likely get this fine-tuned a little bit over the next couple days, but as it stands right now, just about everyone in the Arklatex could see some strong to severe storms, the timing of which would be mid-afternoon on Wednesday through perhaps mid-evening. Wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or stronger possible in those strongest storms, as well as the threat for large hail and even an isolated tornado risk along with heavy downpours. So a lot we're going to be watching for you as we hit the midpoint of this week. Here's the latest hour-by-hour forecast for your Wednesday with Future Track. We start you off Wednesday morning, not expecting anything too terribly bad in terms of storm activity, although a few showers will be possible through the morning hours. It'll be after the lunch hour, though, where we really see showers and thunderstorms quickly develop here in the Arklatex. By mid-afternoon Wednesday, some of these are strong across East Texas, northwest Louisiana, on into southern Arkansas, and we'll likely continue to see some of these hang in through the late afternoon hours. This is around 6 in the evening or so on your Wednesday. Still tracking some strong storms, particularly across northwest Louisiana. And then by 9 o'clock Wednesday evening, it looks like most of this activity is pushing out of the Arklatex. We'll get a break on Thursday and then may see another round of potentially strong storms coming in on Friday. So it looks like we're going to see the threat for severe weather ramp back up by the middle to latter part of this week. Overnight tonight, though, enjoy the calm while we have it. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies expected. Temperatures will settle back into the upper 50s to lower 60s. 61 in Texarkana tonight will be slightly cooler. In Shreveport at around 59. From there tomorrow, temperatures once again will be on the warm side. Mix of clouds and sunshine for you Tuesday, very similar to today. And it's going to be a breezy day as well. South wind will pick up around 15 miles per hour into tomorrow afternoon, but at also pumps those temperatures back up to maybe into the low 80s in most spots. Mid-60s at 9, mid-70s at noon, and between 3 and 6 tomorrow, we will be at or above 80 degrees for pretty much that entire span. 82 is what we're shooting for a high in Natchitoches tomorrow, 80 in Marshall. We'll go 81 in Mount Pleasant. May stay just below 80 in Idabel, 82 in Texarkana, and around 81 for that high in Shreveport-Bossier tomorrow. First Alert 7-day forecast showing those storms are back on your Wednesday. 60% chance on the rain activity right now. And again, some of those storms could be strong to severe. Temperatures may come down slightly, but still fairly warm in the upper 70s. We're back around 80 on Thursday. Rain chances down, but they go back up again on Friday with perhaps some more strong storm potential and high temperatures to close out the week in the low 80s. Optimistic that the weekend things will dry out and quiet down for at least a couple days, with temperatures staying around that 80-degree mark. And then next week may see that chance for showers and thunderstorms begin to pick back up. You know, April, Destiny, is our most active month for severe weather and tornadoes. Even though we've gotten a break here for the first 4 or 5 days of the month, I think we're going to make up for it later this week.
Yeah, not looking forward to the rain. I am looking forward to the 80-degree weather, though.
Nice to see the warmest temperatures, definitely.
Thanks, Jeff. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee is drawing widespread criticism online for this controversial tweet. It says he wants to identify as Chinese to gain favors from major corporations. It comes at a time when hate crimes against Asian Americans are surging across the country. Asian Americans are being more vocal as anti-hate crimes surge in the U.S.
Asians, we always try to be model minorities. That's typical stereotype. We don't want to do that no more.
As violence and prejudice rhetoric have ramped up, rallies have popped up all over the country to combat hate.
It hurt our communities. Enough is enough.
A study reported that anti-Asian hate crimes increased 149% in 2020 in 16 of America's largest cities. The data comes from police department statistics showing an uptick in these hate crimes in both Houston and Dallas. And over the weekend, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee made a tweet saying, quote, "I've decided to identify as Chinese. Coke will like me, Delta will agree with my values, and I'll probably get shoes from Nike and tickets to MLB games. Ain't America great?" Supa Cypresseth Mays, who is running to be the next Arkansas governor, says that tweet seems to, quote, "mock the national anxiety and reaction to recent anti-Asian acts of violence and intolerance." Others think that our political leaders have had a lot to do with the prejudice rhetoric that has spread during this pandemic. In response to the former governor's tweet, many have called him out for being prejudiced. Faith leader and famed author Beth Moore, she is going to be one of the first comments that we look at. She says, "Mike, I've shared a meal with you at your beautiful table. I've heard you profess Christ as Lord. This is entirely antithetical to the gospel." Our next one is from Mary Ann Foster, and she says, if only you could walk in the shoes of an elderly Asian woman or a young black man, and perhaps then you would be able to identify as a Christian with values of justice, compassion, and love. You can find more about this on our KSLA News 12 app to stay updated with the story.
Broadcasting live, KSLA News 12 starts now.
Half hour, I'm Destiny Patterson. Here's the first alert to our top stories on our KSLA News 12 app right now. Boats remain on the water as search crews look for a man who's missing in Wright-Patman Lake Spillway after his SUV went over the spillway that's right along the Bowie and Cass County lines in Texas. A female passenger survived the crash and was rescued from the water. Tonight, Shreveport police are looking for a gunman in a shooting that left one woman dead. It happened Easter Sunday night on Hearn Avenue. Police told us the shooting happened after two women got into a fight. A boyfriend of one of the women reportedly pulled out a gun, shot, and killed the other woman. Shreveport police are also looking for another gunman who killed one man and shot a woman in the Moortown neighborhood. That shooting happened Friday night on Singletary. Police claim the gunman drove near both victims and opened fire. Download our KSLA News 12 app. It's free. It's our way to give you the first alert to any developing and breaking news we cover during the day.
Well, good Monday afternoon, everyone. Quiet weather today, but unfortunately this time of year it doesn't last very long. And by Wednesday, look at what we're going to be tracking here on Future Track. Showers and thunderstorms, and also the possibility for severe weather. We'll talk about that coming up in your forecast in just a few minutes, and maybe some more strong storms for the end of this week as well. Right now, though, it is comfortable. 73 in Idabel, same in Marshall, 77 Shreveport, Minden, also at 77, 76 Natchitoches. We do remain dry and quiet across the Arklatex, and we'll stay that way this evening and on into tonight. Forecast over the next 12 hours showing a clear to partly cloudy sky through the overnight hours. We'll continue with a south breeze that'll help hold temperatures up, so just a slow drop off expected. Still should be well into the 60s at 10 at 68 degrees, and tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. as the sun comes up, most of us will be starting off near that 60-degree mark. I'll be back in a few moments. Good looking Tuesday on the way, but again, things all change for the second half of the work week. We'll talk about those changes ahead coming up in your First Alert forecast.
Tonight, we dig deeper into the lawsuit Red River United filed against Caddo schools. Several teachers we talked to say that they want fair pay for all of those workers in the school who endured during the pandemic.
I feel unappreciated and just excluded. They say we are Caddo. I don't feel like we are Caddo. Just because I chose to start a family and have a baby this year, because I got pregnant when the pandemic started. So I've been pregnant the entire year, and then came to work, was happy to come to work, didn't complain, wore my mask, and I didn't get full pay because I didn't have enough days, because I had an issue last summer. We lost a baby and I had to take days for that. And then I came back after 8 weeks. I didn't ask for extended leave, or I didn't try to do any of that. I came back because I wanted to be here for my kids. And also 3 of my maternity weeks were holidays, so they didn't even count towards the extended sick leave days. And it's frustrating when they say we get full pay because we don't.
You can watch the full raw interview right now on KSLA.com. Tonight, health leaders warn that the U.S. is entering a 4th surge in COVID-19 cases as rates rise across the country. The CDC says young adults are driving the latest uptick as more older Americans have been vaccinated. The CDC director says a rise in youth extracurricular activities as well as more contagious variants of the virus are responsible for that uptick. Now, several scientists claim they discovered a double mutant of coronavirus. Researchers say the double mutant has the mutation found in the California variant as well as another significant spike mutation. That double mutant is believed to be responsible for a recent surge in COVID-19 infection in India.
This one has 2 mutations that we've been looking at for a while, and they are in some important parts of the molecule that lets the virus attach to cells. So we have to keep an eye on them.
These are going to be tracked. There's going to be all types of variants out there. And now that we're thankfully doing more genomic sequencing, we're going to learn about more types of variants.
Dr. Gary urges the public not to panic over the double mutant. As we start to make progress and put the pandemic behind us, a problem that may have been slightly overlooked is the impact that it's had on our mental health. Our Chris Risotto shines some light on this problem that many of us might not have been aware of.
Between being confined to our homes for long periods of time, parents becoming teachers, and many other uncertainties that this pandemic has brought us, more people than perhaps ever before are struggling with their mental health.
I think it has a little bit to do with the fact that it's the pandemic, but I think just in general, it's also a big problem.
But recent studies have shown that much of Louisiana's Hispanic population hasn't been getting the mental help they need at a time when it's most crucial.
Essentially looking at the Hispanic population in the state and the number of people who said that they needed counseling but did not get it, Louisiana had the highest percentage of 17.4%.
But after sitting down with a mental health therapist, I was told one of the reasons for those numbers lies within a stigma around seeking help within the Hispanic community.
When it comes to certain Hispanic cultures, most Hispanic cultures, some Asian cultures, Caribbean cultures, really it's still this idea of like, if you're seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist, you're crazy.
But another issue that might be contributing to the problem is the number of Hispanic psychologists that we have in the United States. According to the American Psychological Association, only 1% of America's psychologists identify as Hispanic, while at the same time Hispanics make up about 20% of the American population, causing potential language barriers and not being able to relate to certain aspects within the culture.
If we have, let's say, Hispanic therapists, that stigma is going to sort of be reduced a bit, and clients and patients are going to be more likely to seek out that help.
Dr. Garcia says it's important that all of us recognize that our mental health and physical health are equally important, and neglecting either one of them, no matter the reason, can hurt us in the long run.
That's Chris Rosado reporting. For anybody seeking mental help, don't hesitate to call the National Suicide Hotline, and that number is 800-273-8255. Minneapolis, Minnesota's police chief says he fired then police officer Derek Chauvin because he did not follow proper procedure during George Floyd's arrest. The chief's testimony came during Chauvin's trial today. The chief described what he saw when he watched the video of Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for nearly 10 minutes.
And when I look at the facial expression of Mr. Floyd, that does not appear in any way, shape, or form that is light to moderate pressure.
Jurors also heard from the emergency room doctor who testified Floyd died from lack of oxygen or hypoxia. Chauvin's defense countered that oxygen deficiency could be the result of ingesting the opioid fentanyl, which was found in Floyd's body.
Well, good evening, everyone. After a relatively calm stretch of about 5 or 6 days, unfortunately, active weather is coming back to the Arklatex. Wednesday and Friday of this week are going to be the two that we're watching for rain and thunderstorms and the potential for some severe weather, perhaps both of those days. Let's talk about Wednesday first here, the high-resolution future track. Wednesday morning, only expecting a few showers. Wednesday afternoon, though, as we heat up and bring a cold front into the picture, showers and thunderstorms are going to flare up across parts of southern Arkansas, East Texas, northwest Louisiana, and potentially some severe weather out of these. This is a snapshot around 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. We'll put things back into motion 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday. Still tracking some strong to potentially severe storms here across parts of northwest Louisiana. And then by mid-evening, most of this should be moving out of the Arklatex. We'll get a little bit of a break for most of Thursday. And then again, the rain and storm chances are back up for Friday. Severe weather potential on Wednesday does encompass pretty much the entire area, particularly where you see shaded in yellow. That's a slight risk, or 2 on a scale of 1 to 5. And we could be looking at all types of severe weather, including damaging wind gusts, large hail, and also the potential for maybe some isolated tornadoes. Now, not officially in a severe weather risk yet for Friday, but it is possible that as the details become a little bit clearer for our end of the week weather maker, we may see a severe weather risk outline for the Arklatex. We'll start you off Friday, basically after the stroke of midnight Thursday night. Showers and a few thunderstorms possible in some areas. And then through the day Friday, especially after the noon hour and into Friday evening, additional rain and storms are expected to develop, track through the Arklatex. This is 10 o'clock Friday evening, potentially. We could be tracking some severe weather at this point, and then it does look like all this is out of here just in time to head into the weekend. But we will keep you, of course, first alert about any severe weather potential both Wednesday and Friday, especially as we get a little bit closer. Overnight tonight, though, should stay fairly quiet. Temperatures will dip back upper 50s to around 60 for most of the area, so not too bad on the temperatures. And certainly tomorrow is going to be a nice day for us, similar to what we saw today around the area. Steady climb through the 60s and 70s during the morning hours tomorrow. We'll already be at 75 at the noon hour, and tomorrow afternoon will be a warm one as temperatures top out into the low 80s. That is a good 7-8 degrees above our average highs for this time of year. 82 in Texarkana tomorrow, 81 in DeKalb, Texas, 82 in Atlanta. We'll go 81 over in Magnolia, 82 in Stamps. We take you out into the western Arklatex here across much of East Texas, 81 Mount Pleasant and Dangerfield. Same in Carthage as well as Center. Shreveport, Bossier, about 81 also tomorrow. We'll look for temperatures in the low 80s in Minden. Ringgold, you're at 80, 81 in Coshada, and maybe as warm as 82 degrees in Natchitoches tomorrow. First alert 7-day forecast. Again, we've got 2 days we're watching this week. Tomorrow is not one of them. Enjoy the calm weather. There's your showers and storms coming Wednesday, high around 77. Again, potentially some severe weather. Should get a break on Thursday, high around 80. And then another opportunity for showers and storms Friday with highs in the low 80s. Weekend right now, never too early to look at that. And at this point, Saturday and Sunday looking okay. If we see any rain over this weekend, it would be first thing Saturday morning. Those temperatures will stay on the warm side as well. Highs around the lower 80s. Definitely feeling like spring is here, and it looks like those spring-like temperatures may be here to stay.
Definitely. You got to expect the rain this time of year, right?
Yep, you do. Stormy weather in the month of April, and we're going to see that again later this week.
Thanks, Jeff. April is the month of the military child. Every weeknight during the month of April on KSLA News 12 at 6, we are recognizing Arklatek's children from military families. Tonight, we recognize 6-year-old Janelle Elise Boyd, whose father serves in the Air Force. Today, we salute the Boyd family. Thank you for your service. We'll continue to recognize our Arklatek's children from military families all month long. To nominate your child, email us a photo to chandler.watkins@ksla.com. Include their name, age, and your branch of the military. Millions of American service women and men saved the world from tyranny in World War II, but some stand above the rest. Our Peter Zampa reports as we cling on to the remaining members of the greatest generation. There's a widespread push to honor them like never before.
These are genuine American heroes.
Of the 472 World War II Medal of Honor recipients, just 2 remain. 99-year-old Charles Coolidge of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and 97-year-old Woody Williams from Fairmont, West Virginia. Coolidge single-handedly fought off a swarm of Germans to save dozens of his own men. Williams saved Ally lives on Iwo Jima with a flamethrower. These warriors are still going strong, but when the time comes to lay them to rest, some, like Keith Hardison, are calling for a proper send-off.
A state funeral elevates the recognition, official acknowledgement of the greatest generation.
Now, state funerals are generally reserved for presidents, though every once in a while one is held for other outstanding Americans. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn says this is the appropriate occasion.
It causes the attention of the nation to be turned to that service and sacrifice.
Blackburn says the decision rests with one person, President Joe Biden. The bipartisan proposal sent by advocates from across the country requests a state funeral be held for whoever passes last between Coolidge and Williams.
We've not received a response from them yet.
And though generals and high-ranking officials have been recognized with state funerals, veterans advocate Bill McNutt says this one would represent the common American who went above and beyond in answering the call of duty.
This can be the final salute to the greatest generation, and they'll be saluting an enlisted man for the first time in a state funeral setting.
We reached out to the White House about this proposal, but they did not respond to our request for comment. In Washington, I'm Peter Zampa.
This push for the state funeral began during the Trump administration, and while they did not get former President Trump to sign off on the proposal, they say they are more organized now and they have broader support. New players, new season, new goals. Tonight in sports, why one of LSU's bright spots from spring football hopes to shine brighter this fall. It's not very often that a true freshman walks onto campus and right into a starting spot on a football team. But at LSU, Mason Smith has set out to change expectations. Here's Garland Gillen.
We witnessed it at Terrebonne High. Mason Smith possessed some rare and unique talents. Now at LSU, Coach Ogeron predicts that skill set will get Smith on the field early this fall.
He's our best pass rusher inside right now. Right now, 5-6 days of spring. So there's no question he's going to play. He's going to play a lot, and he can push for a starting position. He is a very athletic big man. He practices very hard. He's got to stay a little bit lower on the run. He's excellent on his pass rush, and he comes to work hard every day. He's a very smart young man. I do believe he's going to play a lot as a freshman, and is going to be one of our top freshmen on our team.
Smith owns the Coach O seal of approval, and his teammates are also all in.
I go against him every day. That's Mason Smith. He's a great talent. He's a young kid. For him to be that young, and his IQ right now is special. He has a lot of tools that I've seen across the SEC that most players don't have.
Since he's been here, he's been really open to learning and asking questions and
trying to get better. You know, as a freshman, you know, you don't see that a lot. So he's really somebody that's buying in to being here. You know, but he's gonna be somebody to watch out for because he's really special and he's really got some special talents.
Smith will also turn some heads this fall with his jersey. The Houma native will be wearing the number 0. Last year, the NCAA approved players wearing that number. Covering the Tigers, Garland Gillen.
Now over to the NBA. With so much stacked against them, the Pelicans pulled out an important win in Houston last night. New Orleans played without 2 starters, 4 players total, and they lost another player during the game. It's a credit to the guys that did play. Lonzo Ball was back from injury and knocked down 8 3-pointers and a team high of 27 points. One of the newest Pelicans, James Johnson, looked like he belonged in the starting lineup with 18 points and 7 rebounds.
You know, it's the team. The team really is helping me everywhere I need to be. You know, they're going along with my mistakes. I called the wrong calls probably about 10 times out there that you probably can't even notice because one of my teammates covered for me. Either zone crack back or switch when he wasn't supposed to. Then you see him down there with a big man in the post. You know, it's just the little things that they're doing for me to make my transition smoother. You know, but as soon as I get those terminologies right and getting those calls to my guards earlier, I think it's going to be a well-oiled machine.
The Pelicans will face the Hawks tomorrow. Now over to the NFL. It's been a quiet offseason for a Saints team that has a number of roster holes to fill. The moves they've made have been minor yet necessary, like the pickup of tight end Nick Vannett. Sean Vizendi goes inside the film room to show us why the Saints were sold on Vannett.
Play fake to Lindsey. Lock, end zone, wide open, touchdown. It's Nick Vannett.
Nick Vannett is a player best known for his blocking, and with the Broncos last season, that's exactly where he stood out. Denver used Vannett in mostly 2 tight end or heavy personnel groupings. In Week 4 against the Jets, here he is on the right side of the formation. On the snap, he gets to the second level quickly and moves the linebacker, allowing Melvin Gordon to gain 5. Later in the game, he's in goal line to the left of the formation. On the snap, the play is disrupted to the right, but because of his block, Gordon is able to sneak into the end zone for a touchdown. Vannett wasn't just used in run blocking. He was also used in pass blocking as well. Here he is going in motion from right to left. On the snap, he stonewalls Bryce Huff to provide ample protection for the quarterback.
Reminder for tonight, you can watch the NCAA National Championship right here on KSLA News 12. Gonzaga takes on Baylor. Coverage starts at 7:30 and the game starts at 8. KSLA News 12 at 10 will air right after that game. And one shining moment.
Well, good evening again, everyone. First Alert 12-day forecast time. And after a quiet start here to the month of April, it looks like we're going to get rolling with more active weather coming in over the next 12 days. Starting Wednesday, that'll be our next opportunity for seeing some strong to severe storms and another opportunity at the end of the week on Friday. Temperature-wise, though, we stay warm. No signs of any cold snaps moving back in with highs mostly in the 80s. Upcoming weekend at this point looks okay. We'll see if it stays that way, but right now we're optimistic. And then for next week, may have a couple weather makers as well. Early next week and then late next week may have more opportunities for showers and storms. And of course, anytime we're tracking rain and storms in April, we have to be worried about the threat for severe weather. Notice the temperatures, though, throughout next week will stay on the mild side, mostly in the 70s and 80s for highs. That's pretty close to what we would generally expect this time of year. We will get an update, though, with Future Track on those storms for Wednesday. I'll have that latest hour-by-hour forecast for you coming up tonight after the basketball game.
Thanks so much, Jeff.